long have you guys been playing together?
It's been a year. Yeah, pretty close to a year.
Yeah. And you're coming off an amazing career. I mean, what a ride. And to be the local.
Yeah, pretty crazy. Definitely didn't expect that going into college, but it's definitely been pretty cool.
How did you, not let the pressure get to you?
I don't know. I get that question a lot. And I don't know. It's just kind of, I think, just how I was raised, I guess. I mean, I grew up playing with 3 older brothers, so just constantly having competition, on all family trips, just in the backyard. So I don't know. It just never. I kind of like the pressure. I enjoy it. So yeah.
She is the most full person you've ever met in your whole life. And it's not just on the volleyball court. I'm freaking out about something. She's like, there's nothing you can do to change it. I'm like, oh, you're right.
Isn't that amazing? I mean, and that is truthfully, the thing that I've learned the most raising kids is, well, I have 4, and my youngest is on the autism spectrum. So it's taught me a lot about the nervous system, how we view the world. And if you're running around in fight or flight all the time, you can never perform to your highest capacity. So I always watch an athlete, and I realize I'm an aging athlete, and I realize that younger I was always really keyed up. And now I'm playing in this calm state. I'm like, oh my God. This is awesome. So the younger you learn that, but it's interesting that you learned it in a competitive environment, which I think for athletics is, it's key, because if you can learn to have that calm when the pressure's on, you're dialing into a really special place. So yeah, and I'm much more I'm always about the story behind the volleyball, about this community. So the fact that you grew up here, and Sean was telling me, he's like, I played with her when she was this big, and so tell me a little bit about how this place affected your career.
I mean, obviously, the amount of courts that they have is very unusual, especially for being in Louisiana. So the fact that we just have this platform to come out and train and play is really, I'm very thankful that it is in Louisiana. When I was a junior playing, they have so many of these courts, but we were only using one. We were struggling to get kids to come play. Me and my old friend my current friend, but who I used to play with, Meg Davenport, we played high school together and everything. She's actually the one who kind of got me into beach volleyball. But we would struggle to get 8 teams to come out to these junior tournaments. So to now we come out and I come to see these junior tournaments and there's over 100 teams playing it, and I'm like, this is awesome. So it is kind of nice that I've gotten to see their progression and the growth, because this place is actually finally getting utilized. Because when I was a kid, it really was beach volleyball was popular and people would come out and play occasionally, but it wasn't what it is today, and I'm really just excited for even what the future holds, because I know it's just going to keep growing and growing.
Yeah, and that's, obviously the onset of NCAA sports has done so much for the sport, but to me, I think it's so much about keeping that community aspect and that camaraderie, even though the seriousness of the NCAA comes in, and seeing places like this, helping athletes keep the down home feel of supporting each other, and it's
definitely a family aspect, because just everyone I feel out here is just family. They support, everyone supports each other, kind of what's happening with each other, just because it's kind of a close-knit family, and I think that's really awesome.
Yeah, even the NCAA with the beach family, we see who signs up for it. We're like, oh my gosh, we get to see them again, And it's exciting that you get to jump from tournament to tournament and go explore different cities, but you get to see the same people, and it's cool.
Yeah, it's funny, the beach volleyball world is very small.
It's so small.
Yeah, even going back to, I grew up in the Central Valley, California, and I went home a couple weekends ago to film a place that built 6 beach volleyball courts out in the middle of vineyards. So it's in the middle of farmland. And I'm starting to discover these places, because honestly, that's how we're going to grow the game, right? I live now in Redondo Beach. I play at 16th Street in Hermosa. It's so fun to be sitting there and see the top players in the world practicing next to you. It's very motivating. But at the same time, we're not going to grow it in that same little pocket of the world where, where it started. So I love seeing teams like you guys and have attracted so much positive energy to the sport. And then I've only watched just a little bit. Like I said, I'm not a real technical. I try to catch what I can catch, but seeing what you guys have ignited, people started talking about it, and then just being so positive and like supporting each other on the court. And I mean, that is such an example for younger kids, and to keep, the entitlement and that idea of inclusion and giving kids a chance to come out and play from wherever they're starting, And I don't know, like what would be some advice? I think a lot of kids these days expect to be good right when they start. Right? Yeah. So, like, what advice would you give to a young player who's frustrated? Like the first couple times they come out, right?
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, like being an indoor player my entire life, I think it was 2 days ago. We were coaching a little juniors group, and she was a indoor player, and she was coming to the beach for the first time, and she was so angry. She was kicking sand, and I went over and I talked to her. I pulled her aside. I was like, "Hey, listen, I've been there. Like, the only thing that is going to stop you is your head and knowing that you are at a certain level and thinking that you can't get any further. Like, it is going to take a progression. You can't just expect to jump out in the sand, play a completely different sport, and be amazing at it." And from then, she would just like make small baby transitions, and then she was thrilled when she would do a 1-spin right. And I was like, that is what it's about. It's not about being amazing right? It's about the tiny little tweaks. I always say, like, baby steps to being better.
Yeah.
And even if it's something so small that only I notice it, and I've been working on it, I'm going to take those small wins, especially in the transition.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think you're going to have some good practice, and you're definitely going to have some bad practice. It is just like you're trying to get better, and there's going to be some bumps along the way, but you just kind of got to keep pushing and know that you will get better. Like, and honestly, that's the hard practices and the ones where you are frustrated are the best practices, because that is when you are learning something. That is when you are getting better as a volleyball player. So I think to kind of somehow get the mindset of like, wow, I kind of want those practices of when I'm struggling would be something very cool, and be something a lot of people should like push for. Instead, you don't want the great practices. Great, but you're probably not getting better. You're doing the skills that you already know. So when you're making yourself uncomfortable and putting yourself in those tough positions, that's when you're growing as a player.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah.
That was really good.
Well, I mean, and that's a lot of what I write about and talk about is the things we learn in volleyball. I mean, volleyball is my lens because that's the sport I played. I was also a swimmer. And the things that we've learned in those tough moments in the competition and the practices that honestly end up converting to life. And so you go out into the job market and you go out into relationships and you have that ability to dig deep or understand failure. And I think a lot of times these days we get away from realizing how long our sports can serve us, and the concept of championships and scholarships, and you can get really short-sighted on that stuff. I mean, and so that's, that conversion, I think, is so huge for athletes to understand.
Originally, me and my dad was my basketball coach, and I loved I loved basketball with all my heart. Like, I didn't want to do anything else. I tried soccer, tried dance. Me and my sister got kicked out because we talked too much. Like, it was just, I tried a bunch of things, but basketball was what I really wanted to do. And then it wasn't until my best friend was like, hey, I'm going to a volleyball tryout, and that's when I actually considered it for the first time, just because she was going. So my mom was like, all right, you're going to volleyball tryouts, and opened the door and gave me a nice little push out of the car, and I am so grateful that she did. Both of them, honestly, all four of my parents have been super supportive in any way. They try and come to as many events. I know I'm far away right now, but they're always watching and texting me. And I have a huge family and a huge support system, so I'm very grateful. Yeah, my mom she's never going to give me any advice on anything. She's like, I think you do great no matter what, and she just sits there and she claps, and she's always proud of me. So that's exactly how she does it.
It's kind of funny because we always talk about it because her mom is always like, yay, like won't really like say anything about like how you play. She's like, oh, you do great no matter like what happens. And like my mom is kind of on the other end of the spectrum. She's kind of like she's probably like my biggest critic, and I kind of like I credit my success for sure to that. And honestly, both my parents, my dad will kind of be the same. They both were my coaches when I was younger, and I love that. That's honestly kind of what I want to do with my kids. I want to coach them. So I kind of give them credit for my success just because the most support they've given me is just being my biggest critic. And they're if it's a bad day, if it's a bad game, I'm gonna be like, yeah, that was a bad game. And I'm like okay with that. It really has made me the player that I am today. So I'm really thankful for that. Obviously, she'll also tell me when it was a good game. Like, and for her to say that, you're like, okay, it must have been a pretty good game. But I'm thankful. I'm really thankful for that.
I think it's a nice balance of having when both of our parents are there. If we, like, depending on what game is going on, you know, you do have somebody that is going to critique you, and then you have somebody that's always going to be your biggest cheerleader, and honestly, both of them are our biggest cheerleaders. Like, they want us to do well, and that's why they put so much time into it.
And it's not even just my parents. My brothers think they're coaches. Like, they'll say whatever they're thinking in the moment, they're going to say it. So it really is just kind of like, my whole family is like that, and then it kind of is really funny when both of our families go to an event, because it's like kind of opposites of like what we're getting.
I have about 5 coaches on the sideline. Like every single Nuss family member is my coach for the day or the tournament. It's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, talk about volleyball community, right?
Yeah.
And you're number 4?
Yes, I have the two older half brothers, and then I have a brother and then me.
All right. And what birth order?
My sister, me, and then I do have 6 half siblings, but they are all my siblings.
Yeah.
We
love it.
When I was 2, my parents separated, so it's all I know that I have all of them. So.
That's incredible. I'm all about like there are so many ways to create success, and when we put ourselves in a box and say like this is the only way it's gonna happen,
you're gonna be wrong.
You're gonna be wrong, yeah. And watching like 2 amazingly well-adjusted, incredible athletes like you guys, like the way that you guys communicate and like your vibe is so cool. Like it's so
a good time.
Thank you. Yeah, we do.
So, what's like your biggest thing on the court that connects you guys to each other?
I mean, I always say that she is my cool, calm, collected, steady Eddie all the time. She's also my biggest hype person. Like, she's gonna look at me when I'm kind of struggling or getting down on myself. She's like, you're gonna kill this next ball, or you're gonna get a block. And she just really hypes me up and like builds my confidence. And I think that's the coolest thing. She never gives me that look that she doesn't believe in me and thinks that I can't do it. Hands down, the biggest thing that you can do in order to do what I do is the look of crap where you actually want to do your job. And she doesn't give it to me.
Yeah,
She does the same thing. Like she also builds me up. She's also probably my biggest hype person.
She's so good.
She really does just like instill confidence in me, just because like on the court, if I like hit a ball out or like do something, for some reason I'm like, my bad. And she's like, no, like I'm not worried about you. Like when she says that, I'm like, okay, cool. She's not worried about me. I'm good. Let's go.
Yeah, I heard one of these coaches, I can't remember which one, say something about the 2-second rule yesterday. It's like, next point, right? And that's,
Oh my gosh.
huge.
Yeah.
If you're thinking about that last
Things
play,
gone.
You cannot think about the past. You just gotta move on to the next one, because nothing you can do about the past. You gotta just control what you can control.
So you guys are headed from the college game to the professional circuit, I saw. What are you most excited about?
Man, I just really love going to practice every day to get better. That is like my goal right now. I just want to go get better and better and better, and our coach is absolutely phenomenal. my other coach that plays alongside me, absolutely phenomenal. They just pick apart little things, and yeah, I'm frustrated at practice pretty much every single day, but I think that's what you were talking about. Like, that is when you do get better. And so when I leave Matt, well, obviously I'm angry, but then I just realized later that like these are the little steps that I need to take in order to jump to the next level. So I'm really excited for that, and then I just really enjoy competing.
Some good stuff coming up too.
Yeah.
We're heading out of it. It's gonna get good fast.
Excited. Yeah. 80 great teams that are coming.
Yeah.
It's gonna be huge. It's gonna be fun. So.
Yeah. So excited. How about you? Like how's this journey looking for you?
I am very excited. Just to kind of take it to the next level and just play those higher caliber teams. I love competition. I love getting to compete. So again,
everything.
Taking it to the next level just really excites me, and just honestly to kind of I think I'm also really excited to just kind of get out maybe on like the international level and just play international teams, because they have a very different style of playing, and I really enjoy kind of like seeing that play out or just playing against that. So that's also kind of something I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, definitely. It's crazy how the game changes, right? I mean, it's been fun to watch some of this FIVB stuff leading up to the Olympics.
And we were talking about that. It's impossible to tell what they're actually doing on TV. Right?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Hard to tell.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're doing crazy things.
Yeah. Well, and the elements are different. The wind in Cancun.
Cancun,
Yeah.
And you can't really tell that from watching it on TV.
Yeah.
Until someone's there and there was like, yeah, it was like 20 miles an hour. Which you're like, wow, it didn't even look like that on TV.
Good
Yeah.
job. Yeah.
So, well, I'm really excited to watch you guys this weekend. I appreciate your time.
Yes.